we've got new things that are going to be much better, and we're utilizing our space the best way we can.
Hi everyone, I'm Steve Stoller.
And I'm Shauna Haley, and this is Inside Plano. Well, we're continuing our focus this year on redevelopment and what's happening in the city of Plano. We've talked all year about a variety of things, Steve, haven't we? From economic development to roads and sewers to, business growth as well. And now we have something completely different to talk about.
I don't know about you, I am really excited about a lot of these projects that are happening right now. Because, it seemed like some people thought there was a lull, but there really wasn't. I mean, we have so much going on in the city still.
Exactly.
So we want to talk today about some specific projects here at the Plano Event Center where we're located. And for anybody who might not know where the Plano Event Center is, it's located east of US 75 on Spring Creek Parkway. And you might not be aware of all the work that's being done, but if you drive by, you can't help but notice so much of what's underway right now.
Yeah.
So our guest today is the manager of the Plano Event Center, Mark Jarrell. Mark, thank you for joining our podcast.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. We always start our interviews by asking our fellow employees, what is it about you that we don't know?
That you don't know. So much. I'm actually a Dallas native and a Baylor Bear. I have 2 grown kids. I've been in this business for about 35 years. I started when I was 10. And obviously. And I've been here at Plano Event Center for 10 years now. So still seems fresh and new, but it's actually been 10 years.
Tell us a little bit about the history of the Plano Event Center and how it serves our community.
The Plano Event Center opened in 1990. And when it opened, there was a fountain out in the front. There was a gift shop. There was an art gallery. And there was a rose garden here behind me in the courtyard. And the price of a fried chicken dinner was $7.95 a person.
Can we bring those days back?
I wish. It's about quadruple that nowadays.
Yeah,
You can still have your fried chicken, but you're going to pay a little more than that for it. So things have changed quite a bit. The fountain's gone, the gift shop's gone, the art gallery's gone, but we've got new things that are going to be much better, and we're utilizing our space the best way we can. And as we talked about the community, how it serves the community, we're really the only place in Plano that can accommodate a large group of people. If you've got 500 or more people, you have to come here or you have to go to a different city. So we are serving the school districts. They have meetings, they have proms, they have graduations here. We serve corporations to have meetings. A lot of times they don't have a space at their campus where they can get all their employees here at the same time, and they want to make a big announcement, so they come out here. We have athletic events, we have gymnastics, we have martial arts, we have volleyball games and competitions. We have cultural events, so we have South Asian celebrations, we have African celebrations, we have Middle Eastern, we have quinceañeras, we have social events, so you can get married here, you can have your reception here. We have consumer events, so if you're interested in trains or you're interested in gift markets, we've got something for everybody here.
Did you say that you have volleyball tournaments here?
We
As
do.
in volleyball?
Yes.
Okay. That one caught me off guard.
Does not have to be a gym floor for a volleyball tournament. They just put up the nets and they play on the carpet.
Wow.
Sometimes they'll bring in a wooden floor for certain things, and put down mats for wrestling competitions, things like that. So it's crazy.
Man, talk about a flexible space. Well,
it is very flexible.
Speaking of flexible, this center is undergoing a major renovation. And
Yes.
for those who are watching the video version of this podcast, they can perhaps see out behind you just a lot of construction underway. Tell us a little bit about what's going on here.
This is our courtyard space directly behind me, and it is our outdoor space that is getting a whole new design, a whole new look. It's going to be $3.2 million worth of renovation. We've been working on it for about a year now. It's going to have new landscaping, shade structures, bistro tables and chairs for dining. There'll be 2 stage areas for performances. lots of electrical, lots of Wi-Fi, everything you need. We can even put 3 tents out there now.
So what inspired this renovation? You said 3.2 million, so that's
Yes.
pretty significant.
Pretty significant. It has grown we started talking about this several years ago, and of course, as we know, construction prices go up. But the inspiration was we realized it was an underutilized space. So, and all the landscaping was pretty tired, pretty overgrown, very mature, we'll put it that way. So, our event planners tell us that they love a flexible space. So we started looking at the courtyard and thought that can be super flexible. It just needs some tweaks and some additions to it. So we've got it where you can just have it a wide open space. You could fill it up with chairs. You could have it as a dining area and fill it with tables and chairs. It can be just an impromptu gathering spot. And it's just, we even have room if you want to play an outdoor game like giant checkers, things like that. Mm-hmm. You can do all that out there.
What are some of the unique features of the courtyard design?
Well, I think the greatest thing we have is this. You can't probably see it from here. There is a very large fireplace that's undercover, and it's going to have like couches and coffee tables and chairs and things so you can gather around the fireplace, have your winter beverage, or just relax around there. All the shade structures, which we didn't have before, have ceiling fans, so we'll try and cool us off a little bit during our Texas summers. And then we're going to have artificial turf in the middle, so it'll be green year-round. It'll always look perfect, and it's very realistic turf as well. I helped pick it out. It looks really good down, and it'll keep everything nice and level so that, you know, before, if you're trying to have something on the grass and you're wearing heels, you could sink, you know, into it. So that won't happen anymore. And it makes it even more perfect for receptions and weddings and things like that.
Mark, obviously, we're still open for business here at the Plano Event Center.
Yes.
You've got so much construction work going on. How are you balancing that construction with trying to keep things running in the ongoing schedule of events here?
Well, it's not easy, Steve. First off, we ask for patience on both sides, both from our clients and from the contractors. The contractors want to get it done as quickly as possible. Our clients want it as quiet as possible. So we do lots and lots of calendars that we send out, and we have quiet days where they can work as long as they're quiet. We have days when there can be no work because the event requires absolute silence, and then we have days when they can do whatever they want. They can make as much noise as they want. Typically, move-in days, they can do whatever they want. Or if we don't have anything going on, they can do whatever they want. But mainly, it's just a matter of coordinating very closely with them and just constant communication and constantly updating them on what's happening on our event schedule. But we try to err on the side of protecting our client over protecting the contractor. So it's taken a little bit longer maybe than it would have if we could have just shut down, but we got to keep going.
So tell us a little more about what kind of events you're envisioning using this space. You mentioned the importance of flexibility. So what are you seeing happening there that hasn't happened before?
Right. Well, now we can do small concerts because we have 2 stage areas that are elevated. We can do demonstrations for large equipment or cooking demonstrations that we wouldn't want, you know, because of the fumes and things, we wouldn't want indoors. We can do outdoor booths for certain shows, things that either are not affected by the weather or we're pretty confident in the weather that week. We always are looking for extra space. So we're hoping to be able to have dinners out there, lunches, happy hours, receptions. We've always done weddings out there, but I think it'll be a much more beautiful space. And it has now sort of a built-in center aisle that will make it even more perfect for a wedding. So it's really going to be so versatile and so useful for our clients.
Well, I used to do a lot of meeting planning, so I know how people are planning way in advance. So I'm sure you have been walking event planners through this space, even though it's on.
Oh, yes.
What kind of feedback are you getting?
They love it. That's the number one feedback. They tell us that they need a place where their attendees can, even if they don't lease the space. They like the idea that their attendees have a place where they can go and just be quiet. Sometimes it's very loud inside the convention center because there's so many people, and people just need to take a phone call, or they need to focus for a minute and work on their laptop for a minute. So now they can just walk outside. There'll be tables and chairs. They can do that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's very cold in here. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's maybe a little too warm for your taste. So then you can go outside and either warm up or cool off, whichever is your particular choice. And also, they like the idea that people can have sort of impromptu meetings. Sometimes when you're at a conference, as y'all know, you see some people you haven't seen for a while and you want to talk to them about a product you have or something, and you're just like, hey, let's run out here for a minute and gather around the table and we can do some business. Mm-hmm. And so that's what they're really excited about. It's just that a place to go that isn't booked and already in use for somebody else.
Oh, that's great.
I think I accidentally drove on one of the streets here in front of the center.
Okay.
There was one of the barricades had been moved, so I thought, it's open.
You're not the first.
I noticed there's a lot of street improvements going on all around the center. What's driving that part of the project?
Yes, that is a $4.5 million street project that is coming along nicely. And it's all about what we want to do. We have 40 acres here. And for the most part, our front yard has been not used at all for anything. And so the vision has been that we could put a hotel out there, a parking garage, and then retail and restaurants to service us, the hotel people, and just people in the East Plano area in general. So that's what all the streets are designed to feed into the hotel, feed into the retail, and also reduce some of the traffic congestion that we get during real large events out here, because we only have that one entrance off Spring Creek right now. Now we'll have two entrances off Spring Creek, and then we still will have an entrance, two off of Jupiter as well. But it'll just make it easier to get around the campus here.
I'm sure you're very anxious to get things back to normal here at the center with all the work that's been going on. What's the timeline for completion of the street improvement project and the courtyard?
They are both supposed to be ready in December of this year. So I'm hoping it will be my Christmas present this year, is to have them both ready. There is a chance that the streets may be January of next year, but we're really fingers crossed that they'll both be done in December.
So you mentioned, this longer range vision of a hotel, parking garage, et cetera. And we remember several years back, Steve, that, they did the Envision Oak Point special use plan. So really looking at this entire area in this kind of a critical development area, an enterprise zone, in fact. How do you make sure, as you were thinking about the business of this event center and what you want to do with this property, how that stays in alignment with things like the Envision Oak Point plan?
Well, fortunately, the city has done a fantastic job of giving us plans of how they envision this space being used, and we have carved out space for us as well to be able to expand as things grow, and we believe a hotel will bring us additional business. There's a lot of groups that will not come to a convention center if they do not have a property on site. So we've carved out space for us, and then the rest of it has been very thoughtfully planned of what would benefit not only, as I said, the residents of this area, but our attendees as well. And so I think when they build everything out the way it's planned, and hopefully it will come to fruition just the way it looks, but I'm sure there'll be tweaks. But I think it's going to make this whole area just an economic hotbed. It's going to be generating taxes for the whole city, which will benefit everyone.
So I'm sitting here thinking, you mentioned, a lot of folks won't come to a center if there's not a hotel on the property.
Right.
Yet every time I come here, it's busy.
Yes.
So how do you stay competitive? How are you doing that?
Well, there's a lot of ways. First off, I have an incredible staff, and most every client we ever have always comments on our customer service. So that's number one, is I think we give better customer service than just about anybody in the business. But we also do some practical things. We benchmark rates all the time. We have several different convention centers and hotels that we check on their rates. see how much are they charging for food and beverage or for this audio visual piece, things like that, or for rent. And we try and make sure that we're kind of in the middle. We don't want to be the most expensive, but we don't want to be the cheapest. We want to just give you good value for your money. And then, of course, we're watching the industry sources for trends and things like that. We subscribe to lots of magazines. We go to conferences and things like that and find out, what's happening, what are people in the other parts of the country doing that it's been successful. And we try and, copy that as well. And then lastly, and probably most importantly, is we just listen to our clients and address their concerns as they come up, or if they have ideas for us, we try as much as we can, we try to implement them and keep them happy so they come back.
Yeah.
Anyone who's been in Plano a long time has so many memories of this place.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I can just think off the top of my head, I used to MC the PISD Trustee Awards every year. Leadership Plano's had events, our holiday luncheons have been here, and on and on and on. What are some of the most memorable and notable events that you can recall?
These are my personal favorites. So I don't know if they're the most memorable, but a year or two ago, Toyota came out and they were showcasing all of their newest models that weren't even in the showrooms yet. They had some new Lexus SUVs and some things like that. So they brought all their dealers out here to see all the new models. So I like cars, so I got to go out and see all the new cars before they came, and they were really well done, the lighting and everything else, and just the whole event was, very professional, top notch. And so that was a fun event for me. And then I think one that a lot of people like to come to here is the Ticket has come every year. And over the years, we've had Dallas Cowboys, we've had Dallas Stars, we've had the Maverick Stars come out. And so that's always exciting to see who they're going to bring as their guests this year. And then for a little bit different, for those that are fans of the TV show Supernatural, we have had their convention come out here, and the stars of the show come, as well as if you know the show, the 67 Chevy Impala is a star of the show, and it gets parked out front, and people go nuts over having their picture made with the car and meeting the stars, and so that's kind of cool. And then one really interesting social event that we had one time was an Indian wedding, and the groom came riding up on a white stallion into the convention center on his stallion, and then dismounted and went into the reception. So that was very exciting. So we have every day's a new day here. You never know what you're going to get.
Next question.
I was going to say we met Lee Majors here, and that was a birthday present to my
Did you
husband.
really?
Yes, and so that was a very exciting time.
That is exciting. Yeah.
Well, the next question marks twofold. What's the most rewarding part of operating this venue? And then what does it mean to you personally to be witnessing such an incredible renovation of the center that you've been operating for so many years?
Right. Yeah. I think the most important thing personally to me is just the constant change. It never gets boring. It never gets old, because even if you have the same event, there's always something different. There's always some new issue or thing that you've got to deal with. So it's always exciting. It's always fun trying to figure out how to deal with, the fact that the fire alarms keep going off, or how to deal with construction going on or things like that. And so it makes it really fun and interesting and challenging for me. And then I think just watching these construction projects go from big mounds of dirt everywhere to what you see today, where you can really see the shape it's going to be and what it's going to look like, is just really exciting. I mean, I watch out my window every day and watch, it's like Tonka toys or something, watching them move the dirt around. And at first it seems like that's all they're doing. It's like, you're just moving dirt from here to here. But eventually you start seeing the shape come forward, and then that's just really rewarding to see. So I've enjoyed it very much.
Well, if somebody wants to book space at the Plano Event Center, how would they accomplish that?
Well, I would suggest that first they go to planoeventcenter.org, O-R-G, and look at our floor plans and look at our menus and our policies and things like that, and see if there's a space that fits what they're interested in. And then either call us or email us. There's phone numbers and email addresses on the website as well, and check to see if your date's available. Now, I will say we are very busy, as you mentioned, and so, book early. Do not wait until the last minute, and because there probably will not be a space. I have people come in the office all the time, and you can always just come by if you'd like. But I have people come in the office and they say, "Oh yeah, I'd like to book something for November," and I always say, "Of this year?" It's like, no, that's not happening. So yeah, book as far in advance as you possibly can, and just look at our website to find out a lot of information, and then call us and we'll walk you through the rest of it.
Well, as someone who's booked space here, I have to say you're correct. Your staff are fantastic. They always ask all of the questions.
All the right questions.
All the
yes.
questions, even the questions that you didn't know needed to be asked.
Right.
They ask you, and it just makes it a very easy process.
That's
Thank
great.
you
Thank
for your
you.
time. This has been great, and the space is busy for those who are listening in real time. I feel like the Junior League of Collin County's annual Neath the Wreath is back here.
It's coming up. Yes.
Very soon, and boy, this place is hopping all weekend that happens.
It is
It's
very much hopping.
perfect time to
Thanks
be here.
again, Mark. Appreciate
Thank
you
you.
being on the podcast and letting our listeners know all the great things that are in store for the future of the Plano Event Center.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Well, thank you again for listening to another episode of Inside Plano. You know how to give us feedback or ask other questions. You send those to us at askplano@plano.gov. And a reminder to our listeners, everything that we talked about today, we'll put in the show notes, so you don't have to worry about writing down those websites. We'll provide them to you. Until next time, thanks so much.
And that's it for our Inside Plano. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did doing it.
If you have any comments or suggestions, send them to us at askplano@plano.gov. Bye.
Talk to you next month. The Inside Plano podcast is brought to you by the City of Plano.